I'm going to start talking more about CQB, urban, room clearing type stuff. But before we get into all the actual techniques of how we go about room clearing in CQB, I want to take a minute and kind of draw a distinction, because a lot of times people seem to think that, when we talk about CQB and room clearing, it's all kind of one of the same. You're just kicking in the door and shooting and taking over the whole building, when there's really kind of two genres, I guess we'll say, of what this looks like. Because if someone says, hey, go take that building, we know that there are enemies in there and they are shooting at us. This is not a good candidate to kick in the door and just start firing. The enemy is prepared, they have lots of guns, they are ready for us, and if you just try to go in the door and start fighting, you're going to have a bad day. You're probably going to die just outright, but if at the very best case scenario, you're going to take heavy casualties. So this is not a situation where we want to just say, let's go and get it done. Instead, bring up your heavy weapons, bring up your explosives, bring the building down on their heads, shoot through all the doors, degrade their fighting position, because when the enemy has fortified it, it's really no longer like a room that we're trying to clear. You're trying to degrade their fortifications, and then once they're all dead, once they're all wounded and there's nothing more coming out, then we can go into the actual room clearing and do all the different techniques that we'll get into about how we actually go about and do this. But we want to make sure that the enemy is not a full strength force, that we have already done our due diligence to make sure that they are already mostly gone on the inside, so that if there are any threats, we can take care of them, because we outnumber them and we have the surprise and they've been degraded so much. Alternatively, you may get the order of, go clear this building, and we don't think anyone's in there. At that point, you can just take, a small team, and you're going to go through and do all your room clearing, pie your corners, be aggressive and everything, looking for threats, but you don't think there's anything in here. And by doing this, you can confirm this building is not a threat. You can then take it over as a defense position. There's lots of stuff you can do, but you're not doing the room clearing fully expecting a threat. If you know that the enemy is in there, and that's the distinction, if you know the enemy's in there and fighting, don't just charge in and try and be a hero. You're not John Wick. You're gonna die, but you need to understand all these techniques of room clearing, pieing the corners, stuff like that, so that when you actually do eventually have to go in the building, or if you have to go clear a building that isn't currently occupied, you know what to do so that you can minimize your risk overall.